No matter what stage of transition you're in, no matter where you are in your life, you're worthy to be here, you're worthy of love, and you are lovable. And we must claim the sacred spaces that that are already here for us, that are waiting for us just to claim them. So claim your crown.
Hey there everyone, my name is Tre'vell Anderson and we are here to discuss Disclosure. Joining us, we have executive producer of the documentary and one of the featured voices, Laverne Cox. We also have with us Angelica Ross, one of the other featured voices in Disclosure, and you all know her from her work in Pose, American Horror Story, and so many other things. Before we get into the film though, I'd love to hear from each of you how you two became friends, how you came into each other's orbit.
I wonder, yes girl, how did we meet, girl?
I believe it was 2013. And it was the first Trans 100 I went to Chicago to support, and that's when we met for the first time. If I am correct, you actually hosted the Trans 100 that year, and you were amazing.
I hosted it. I was the host that year, and so, you know, I was the host on stage. And so I had my little audio equipment, and I was doing, you know, interviews of people that were coming through beforehand as well. And I remember when Laverne I first met her, she had on her flats. Miss Ma'am had on like a little sweater, like a little, very, very humble pie coming in the door. She's like, how can I help?
I finished shooting the first season of Orange is the New Black. It had not come out yet because the Trans 100 was in March. Orange didn't come out till July. So yeah, I had shot it, and it was coming out. I didn't know what was gonna happen.
And you were just so like, I'm here for community and to what can I do to help in such a way that so much happened in a year. And the next year when you came back, it was like, Laverne Cox, the Laverne Cox.
Well, we're here to discuss Disclosure. Laverne, could you, as an executive producer, could you give us a little bit of background information in terms of how you got involved with the project?
Angelica is the reason I became involved in Disclosure. I was living here in LA and I was missing community, and I went online and I saw that you and Jen Richards were speaking at a panel, and I went because of you. And Sam Fader happened to be giving a presentation of the research that would become Disclosure. I'd always wanted to do something that, in my mind, I call the Transgender Celluloid Closet. For those of you who don't know, is a film that's based on the book by Vito Russo that looked at the history of gay and lesbian representation in Hollywood. And I was, for years, I was like, we need something like that for trans people.
What moments from your memory, your recollection of trans history were very important for you to have included in the film?
So my first memories of seeing what I thought was a trans character on screen, which was Edie Stokes from The Jeffersons. It was also the relationship between drag, the history of sort of comedians, particularly African-American comedians, dressing in drag. I knew we needed to unpack the impact of those representations on the lives of trans people, on my life as a trans person specifically.
Angelica, you smiled when she said The Jeffersons, Edie Stokes and The Jeffersons. What's your connection to trans imagery prior to this particular moment?
One thing we couldn't also find, I don't think, in the archives was the fact that I had appeared on the Maury Povich show twice. When we watched those shows, Maury Povich, is it a he or a she? When we watched those shows, the ones who were the most sickening caught people's attention. And so for us in the trans community, it was like the casting call of all casting calls. Maybe somebody might eventually cast you on something or what have you. That was our to hope for. And because we were taught by allowing the media to do an exploitation into our lives, that was one of the ways we could be discovered. And now I'm so grateful that we have other avenues.
As exploitative as they were, there's something so beautiful looking back and seeing the showgirls from the 90s who were like just epic and legendary and everything on these shows, even as they didn't necessarily teach the best lessons to cisgender people about who trans people were. Just the fact that we were there and we have evidence.
So now we have Pose, like now we have stories like Pose and other stories that aren't LGBTQ centered that are finally including opportunities for us to show.
But what is so beautiful about what you just said, Angelica, and about this history is that we've always found a way. Whether there were opportunities or not, we created them, we made them happen, we made them work for us.
One of the things that Disclosure does so beautifully is it takes all of these varying different images and varying different moments and allows us as a community to grapple with both kind of the positives and the negatives, right?
It's been so beautiful though, over the years, seeing a transparent happen and really seeing a pose happen and seeing all of the talent, because for so many years, even before I broke through, people were saying there's no trans actors, and you can't say that anymore.
Laverne, could you give us a little bit of information about how you all put together the team that gave us Disclosure and the importance of that intention?
We were committed to making sure that everyone, not only who's on screen in Disclosure is trans, but everyone who works behind the scenes is also trans. And when we could not find someone trans to fill a role, Sam Fader, our brilliant director, had an idea of creating a fellowship program where that cisgender person would train a trans person in a job. Everyone was invested in the material and in the subject matter in a really, really special way. All of our interns got paid, and that was really challenging. And so our budget was very different. Our budget model was really different. It is crucial that we have people who, diverse folks, writers' rooms and crews behind the scenes, but how do we cultivate that talent? What are we going to do to provide opportunities for that talent to cultivate themselves so that they're prepared when that call comes?
Both of you are producing other work. I'm wondering if what happened with Disclosure and the way that people are responding to Disclosure has changed how you approach the work that you're doing.
For me, Disclosure was just further proof that trans people being in charge of trans narratives is a good idea. And so I want to be a part of creating a platform and be involved in creating a space for my community to shine.
What I feel is possible now post-Disclosure is for us to really have more sophisticated narratives around trans people.
One of the things that I loved so much about the film is the ways in which it kind of pairs transphobia with racism. I just wanted to start with you, Angelica, about like any reflections that you have about like what this film coming out at this particular moment says.
What we're seeing with Disclosure is we can actually get through to people. If the lion is finally telling the stories, and instead of the hunter, then maybe we're not shooting and hunting lions. Now's the time where folks are starting to amplify what we've been saying all along.
There's so much to learn from Disclosure, not just about how we think about trans people, but also how we think about women, how we think about Black people. And I also believe that Disclosure gives us an opportunity to think about media in general, how it can teach us how to think about ourselves, about each other. And that's not just about trans people, that's about a lot of media that's coming at us right now, teaching us very specific things. And we have to, as citizens, as human beings, have to be able to have a critical relationship to everything that we're receiving in the media. And I think Disclosure gives us a wonderful template and frame with which to do that.
Meanwhile, there's so much that's being done to try to erase us. It is up to us to never forget all of the trans lives that we lost. Never forget that they're counting on us to continue to make it better.
What the folks at the Anti-Violence Project have taught us over the years is that the ways in which we end or mitigate at least violence against trans people is that we need housing. We need access to housing. When you're homeless and trans, you're going to experience violence way more. That people need access to jobs. We need access to medical care. These crucial material things can help mitigate and maybe even end violence against trans people. Obviously, people need to stop killing us too. People need to get their stuff together to stop killing us. Statistically, we know there's cis men often cis men of color who are killing us. And I've said this and people have like criticized me for it, but your attraction to me is not a reason to kill me. And so we need to be doing so much work with men in this country and masculinity, so that they understand that their attraction to trans women is not a reason to kill us.
I would love if both of you just kind of like gave a message to camera for our siblings out there in the community, something that you would like them to remember.
There have been so many moments in my life where I said to myself, I'll be worthy after this surgery, or I'll be worthy after this landmark in my transition, I'll be worthy after this. But worthiness has no prerequisites. Worthiness is a birthright. You are worthy right now. No matter what stage of transition you're in, no matter where you are in your life, you're worthy.
When I think about that, there is no place where blackness does not exist. We are everywhere. And so I think the very same thing about trans people. It's equally as true with across the spectrum of LGBTQ plus folks. Not only should we as trans people know that we exist everywhere, but so should society, because they think that we are relegated to the margins. When I could be on the boat at that party, I could be the doctor giving you your diagnosis. So we just have to know that trans people exist at all levels of society, and we deserve to exist.
Thank you both for joining us for this conversation. We truly appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.